What's up, humans? Welcome to a new Psicoactivo. How's everybody doing? So, yesterday was very important and interesting to me because it is UFO Twitter week, as you may know. I already told you that I'm having author Peter Levenda as my guest on Sunday on a Twitter space. I'm also going to record it so I can release it on my channel after the fact. That's one. But yesterday, I helped organize a Twitter space with Dr. Jose Salce Benitez, who is a Mexican Navy doctor who is still on active duty, who has been looking at these bodies for a while now. And something that I didn't know, he revealed. He's the one who actually discovered the fetus inside of Montserrat, who is one of the M types. When there's like an X-ray and you can see the little hand with the little 3 fingers. I'm going to look for it and play it. That's news to me. But there's some things that I need to discuss about this because I've been talking to people from the team of scientists who won't reveal their names, but they are trying to investigate the bodies in the most objective manner. And there's a clip that I found really interesting that keeps coming up in the discussion between these scientists. Because although they are inclined to think that the smaller beings are constructed, ancient constructions, they don't necessarily believe that these beings are not real. There's a viral video from a while ago in Russia where there's like a close-up with a camera of a being that is, I think it's deceased. But the similarities between this deceased being and the smaller 60 centimeter beings is like second to none. It's exactly the same. Let me show you this clip from the Good Trouble show where Dr. O'Connor talks about these similarities. Here it is.
Да, хлеб, короче, лежит. Она не та же планета. Видишь, отдохлеть. Мы пускай. Ноги хули нет, ебаный. Ши, как это ебать, непонятное. С неделю лежит, наверное, тут. Это не больше.
So, that video is quite remarkable. It certainly looks very real to me.
Absolutely.
And when we look at this Nazca mummy that we see on the right, and then the one, this is just a frame taken from that video on the left. The similarity that we see between these beings is just remarkable. I would say, the one on the left, the one on the right, the Nazca mummy on the right is probably at least 900 years old. So we're looking at a very desiccated specimen, whereas the one on the left, of course, died within, I would assume, hours of when this video was made. And, I don't know what happened, whether the dog found this being and just bit off pieces of it or whether it was involved in some kind of a traumatic event. I don't know. But anyway, you can see with your own eyes there the close similarity between these two beings. So this would lead us to think that they were here 900 years ago and they're still here. They're still here with us, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that there is some type of a disconnect between two sides. There's the side that wants to investigate this properly and scientifically because they think that the data is interesting. And then there's a side that I think that they wanted some exclusivity when this all started and they didn't get it. And then they decided to start attacking some part of the group that is investigating the mummies. I still think that there needs to be some clarification on the provenance and how, for example, the bodies that arrived in Mexico, how they arrived exactly. I don't think we still have clarification on that. If the people who helped bring those bodies to Mexico want for everybody to think or believe that it was all legal, they need to present the proper documentation and talk about how those bodies arrived in Mexico. I have tried on my side to get that information, but I haven't been successful so far. I'm not going to name anybody. I'm just saying there is a problem there. And I think that part of the debunkers of the mummies are mad because of this lack of clarification, of this legality on how these bodies arrived. And if that doesn't get cleared up, the process is gonna be longer and way more difficult than it could be. So there's that. Also, yesterday when Dr. Salce did the mummy space, it is incredible. They talk about a lot of stuff. Dr. Salce goes in detail of how when he looked at the fetus, he noticed that the placenta, or what is supposed to be a placenta, is remarkably similar to a crocodile egg, which I thought was really interesting. I want to give a shout out to King Wakata on X. He makes some of the funniest UFO related comedy news pieces, I could call them. It's like the Daily Show for UFOs, like really. He's like all satire. It's brilliant. He was the one who organized the space. I helped him get Dr. Salce to the space. So, and then there was also my collaborators, Estefany Carrillo and Mr. Gonzalo Chavez. Oh, also, there was Megan there. Shout out to Megan. You're great. Gonzalo asked one of the best questions of the whole space. I think Holocipher also asked some really cool questions about the biology of the specimens that I found really interesting. I'm gonna leave the Twitter space in the description. The doctor made the whole space in English. Initially, he was a little shy, I would say, but then he got a little loose, and then he started going more eloquent. So I think it's a worth listen. But the question Gonzalo asked was about a potential for Dr. Salce to testify in front of Congress in the U.S., something that David Grush, David Fravor, and Ryan Graves already did. And he made some really interesting revelations that I'm going to show from a clip of the at Nazca Mummies X account. Credit to you, my friend, right here.
People testifying under oath is a big thing. Would you ever testify in the U.S. if invited?
Wow. Okay. This is a very difficult question because in my personal answer, yes, I be able to go any part of the world whenever they ask me to testify what I saw, what I study, what I analyze, and also what are my results of all this. Okay? Personally, I will say yes. If they invite me, I will go. But at this time, I have a problem here. I'm still working in the Mexican Navy. So as a former, an active duty Navy man in the Mexican Navy, I don't be able to do that without permission. So I will have to ask to my superiors to the license to go there and answer any question they want.
My follow-up question is, if you were invited to testify, what type of evidence would you concentrate on so people could hear why you believe this discovery is real?
Okay, if I testify, if anyone invite me to testify, I bring with me all the image from X-rays, from CT scans, from fluoroscopy, and also bring DNA results, histological and pathological results from tissues that we analyze, and I could bring whatever I have in my possession to testify and give my testimony with this evidence that I made with technology and we made with scientific method. Okay.
Copy.
Ask your question, Megan, if
Yeah.
you'd like.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of a follow-up that I thought of just because you mentioned needing to get permission from your superiors if you were to testify in the US. And I was wondering if in your current work with the mummies, if that's something that you needed to get like permission from the Navy to do that, or if you're just acting in your capacity as a private citizen, and maybe just the general sense of like what the feel within like, the military or the government in general is towards these bodies, if you have a sense of that.
Okay, it's a good question. I made this everything since 2017. I made this as a private citizen, always as a private citizen. But the whole media, the whole I don't know, all these people who talk without knowledge, trying to deny these cases, make some sound around my superiors, and I was punished by that. I don't want get deeper in this because at this moment I'm suffering some punishment from my superiors, but my superiors are acting, trying to protect the honor of the Mexican Navy, and I understand them. But I'm doing this, and I did this from the beginning as a private citizen, not as a part of the Mexican Navy. I I I I I, I don't know how to explain this, but it's very difficult to me work in this. It's very difficult. I have been pressure from some people, so I prefer not to talk deeper in this.
Yeah.
I
No.
understand.
Dr.
Thank you for
Salce?
answering.
Understandable.
Also, thank you so much for like stepping forward and talking to us and talking about this publicly. I feel like it's such an important discovery, and it's very unfortunate that you've faced some consequences for that. And we need more people like you. And I'm so grateful that you have, put your name attached to this with all that long list of credentials that King read out. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Is
So the majority, if not all, Dr. Salce has been doing is as a private citizen. There's not like a big chance for Dr. Salce to get permission to testify in Congress. If it happens, I will be very happy though, but I don't think it will. It's worth the shot though. I think Dr. Salce should ask permission if the US government asks him to testify. I think he should, and I hope he gets permission. I'm just being realistic. I think that, for example, when the Koyame crash happened, there's this tale that when the CIA operatives arrived at the crash, a lot of Mexican military men were dead. And that case is one of the weirdest ones and the most difficult ones to investigate. I heard, please don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying what I heard about this specific case. That one of the people who had evidence on this case was actually told to keep quiet. or else. I heard that the evidence this person had was video evidence and a witness who is very old and apparently was there when the crash, after the crash happened. But this person was told to shut the fuck up because this gets into murky territory. And I think that the Mexican military and the government overall have always been very secretive about these topics. The Dr. Jacobo Greenberg's disappearance was also the investigation was mandated by the president at the time, and the Mexican government has never talked about this openly about the doctor's disappearance. I don't have any high hopes for Dr. Salce to actually get permission to testify. I think he would have to probably retire if he wanted to do that. But I don't think he will yet. I just hope it happens, but don't hold your breath on that one. Let's just leave it at that. So, I want to know what you guys think about the space right after you see it. As I said, I'm going to leave it in the description. I think it was one of the most interesting of UFO Twitter weeks so far. Keep an eye out for one where I'm going to jump in and ask Dr. Masters a couple of questions about Dr. Pioti. Keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to leave you with this update on the mummies. And we're waiting for Ica University to give us more information about the x-rays they took from the mummies Maria and Wawita. Those are the samples they took. And one more thing, I'm going to show an image right now that is coming from Incari Institute in Peru, in Cusco, where Thierry Jamon is located, and Edward as well. It's an infograph that shows each specimen's height in relation to us humans, the Homo sapiens. The average height for Homo sapiens is 5'8", something like that, which translates to 1 meter 77 centimeters. So there you go. There's a human at the far left. Then there are the M-type bodies, which are Maria, Petra, Montserrat, and Rafael. And there's Errol. And then there's Sebastian, who is the kid. Presumably he's the same type of Maria and Montserrat, but he's a kid. Earl too. Then we have the 60 centimeter ones that are Josefina, Victoria, Artemis, Luisa, Paul, Alberto, Clara, and many more. These are, by this group, being considered reptile humanoids, something like that. But the group of scientists that I'm telling you about are leaning more towards these being ancient constructions. And I think it's very interesting and important to note that, for example, Dr. Pioti talks about these beings being real because he had a sighting of one of them. He sent me an audio, and I'm going to translate it and give it to you guys eventually. But I think we need to keep that in consideration, that even though if these little bodies are proven to be ancient constructions, what made the people in Peru from the Andean culture construct these bodies with such precision that I don't think we have that right now. I am inclined to believe that this craftsmanship, if they are constructed, is just too much. Like you had to use some type of technology to make them look so real, But it's still up for debate, and I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. I hope that we get some clarification and either more hearings in the U.S. or more hearings in Mexico, with more politicians involved, not just one. I would like that very, very much. As a Mexican man, I'm telling you guys. Yeah, so I wanted to give you guys these updates. What do you think about them? What do you think about Dr. Salce saying he would testify under oath? That's news to me. And there's also the news that he discovered the fetus inside Montserrat. That's pretty awesome. But check out the whole space. And shout out to everyone who made it happen. King Wakata, Megan, Gonzalo Chavez, Estefany Carrillo. I love you guys. And I hope you keep this going so we can get to the truth. All right? So if you like the content you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, share, and comment. Everything helps. That's what's helping me the most. So thank you. If you want to help the channel in any other way, there are a bunch of links down there where you can donate, get yourself something, get something for the podcast. Whatever you choose, it's always greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys until tomorrow's video. Bye.